All right, awesome. So hi everyone, I'm Erin Conn and I'm the Community Engagement Manager for SeaChange at AAAS. And we use Salesforce for all of our SeaChange operations, but it is also where the community lives. So I'll just go ahead and give you a quick background on what SeaChange is to give you a sense of why we chose Salesforce. So we can move ahead to the next slide. So SeaChange is a program that guides and supports institutions of higher education as they take on changing their structures and systems in ways that advance equity on their campuses. And so the community is public to everyone, but it is also the organizing space for our member institutions through the use of private groups. The Institute is where we produce courses that are available to all, but our member institutions receive free and discounted access once they utilize all of their free seats. And then the third part of SeaChange is the awards, and that is how we provide recognition to member institutions for making progress through our system of self-assessment and action planning. So when I started at AAAS, that was when we really embarked on this process of finding Salesforce. So we can go ahead. So we knew that we wanted to have one platform where all SeaChange operations lived. So we knew it was going to need to be a CRM. We need to manage contacts, similar to what Yamina was showing us with HubSpot, but we also need processes to manage institutional membership in the initiative. We also need capabilities to receive, review, and confer award applications and then the awards. We also wanted to integrate our system with a learning management system, which is where we will put and currently do put all of our institute courses. And then on top of that back end, where we're doing all of the management, we wanted to have a forward-facing community space where people could come in and engage with us. So to get us started, we worked with a consulting firm to scope out every single requirement for every single aspect of SeaChange. This process took 5 months. This was just requirement scoping. I don't know what the cost was, but that was a huge lift. Our consultant's name was Brad, and I loved him by the end, but I'm pretty sure he did not love us, and that's okay. But it was so helpful because then we put out the RFP and we ended up selecting our vendor, which is Fiota, who specializes in Salesforce work for nonprofits. AAAS is a nonprofit. And so we started work with them. And after 2 years, a little more than 2 years, we're still working with them. It's been a phased build out, but we are at the point where we are using Salesforce for most of our day-to-day operations, and the community is up and live and has been live now for about 8 months. So that's been exciting. I'm happy to give a tour of our Salesforce instance once I am home and have better internet access. I've given some tours for a few of my CSCCE course classmates from the courses that I've taken over the past few months. So just shoot me an email, I'll put it in the notes doc, and I'm happy to set up some time to show you what it looks like. But I just want to go over some low points and high points that we have. So the first is that Salesforce is a beast, and there is a huge learning curve for us as admins. And there was a slow adoption on our team. For a while there, I was the only one using it. But now we're all using it, we're all capable, and it is fantastic. But the learning curve is really not we knew it was going to be there, but we didn't realize how steep it would actually be. Our second challenge is there is a very high cost associated with Salesforce, and we are still receiving the nonprofit rates. So just setting up your system, having our consultant Fiona to build it out for us. There are annual licensing fees, not only for your administrative users, so the members of your staff, but also licensing for your front end users to access your community. It is expensive to customize and expand, and that leads me to our third challenge, which is you really need someone who is a trained Salesforce administrator to help guide all of that work. We were able to hire a full-time in-house admin last year. He's been with us for about 8 months, which is the same time frame since we launched the community. And it has really helped us get everyone on board. And it helped with the learning curve. Rather than paying our consultants to teach us, we went ahead and hired someone. And we're very fortunate that we have the means to do so, but that is another cost to consider in our annual budgets. For the community specifically, one of our requirements that the community space needed to be compliant with all accessibility standards, but we quickly learned that in the US, the legal standards for accessibility compliance don't equate to the site being truly accessible. And Salesforce does have some limitations within the community space, a huge one being that they do not offer alt text on images. The menus are very difficult to read for certain types of screen readers, and we have opened cases with Salesforce to explore this and figure out how they can improve their product, because there's not anything that our consultants can do about this. It is a bug of Salesforce itself. So even though they technically meet our 508 compliance requirements, they are not, the community is unfortunately not fully accessible at this time to everybody. And our last challenge, and this is something that's kind of been introduced by AAAS itself, is we require a single sign-on for any website that AAAS owns. And so this has presented lots of challenges with contact management and managing memberships, particularly membership benefits. So purchasing courses, members should be receiving a reduced rate, but because of the back and forth communication with the SSO, sometimes the member rate is not applied if their university is not accurately captured. So we've developed some solutions to manage that in the near term, but we're working with our Salesforce admin to figure out some longer term solutions. With all of that said, and I will also say it was hard to only pick 5 challenges because Salesforce is challenging. There are a lot of things that we do love. And so the first thing we love is that when it is working, it is magnificent. It is incredibly robust and streamlined. We log into one place and everything we need to manage is there for every aspect of the initiative. It is wildly customizable. Salesforce is now on the verge of a monopoly. They're snapping up all of these different tech products, like they own Tableau, they own Slack now, and it integrates with almost everything. So our instance integrates with our learning management system, it integrates with MailChimp, and it also integrates with Zoom. And so when we have events like this, all of the registration information gets imported directly into Salesforce. So we don't have to do the work of looking through registration lists and figuring out who attended or importing contacts of people who aren't in our system already. It does it automatically, and the users, the end users, are none the wiser. It feels like a regular Zoom meeting. The fourth thing, and this relates to everything being automated, is that reporting and creating data dashboards, which are incredibly useful for us since we are a nonprofit. We are still heavily grant funded. It makes it so easy because every piece of information we need is already in the system just by virtue of using it for our operations. The fourth thing is that our users in the community space, which the product for Salesforce is called Experience Cloud, and I put a link to that in the resource section of the notes doc. Users can personalize their experience. So there are different community groups they can join, similar to Slack, how you can join different channels. You can follow different topics, you can follow different people, you can change your notification frequencies, and our users can also update their own profiles. And then the last thing, it's not really a love, but it's really great and something we weren't expecting. Our consultant, Brad, was very straightforward and said, whatever we end up with might not meet all of our needs, but so far Salesforce is meeting all of our functional requirements, which we didn't expect, and we are very happy with it. Yeah, so if anyone wants to see what it looks like on our side, just reach out to me and I'd be happy to show you at a later date.